Good morning. Skidmore College is a college that has always placed special value on the bold, the daring, and the future. Yet we also honor our past. In that spirit, we begin today's ceremony with remarks made by Skidmore's first president, Charles Henry Keyes, that were part of his remarks to the graduating class of 1923. The courage that all your college experience have built into you finally determines the worth of your training. Education brings convictions, but unless it brings also the courage of those convictions, it is but dangerous equipment. To have unfaltering, uncompromising courage of sane, logical convictions is the crowning glory of the life of an educated person. Please join me now in a moment of silence as we honor the courageous people who have made Skidmore the remarkable place it is today. As well, let us consider ways in which each of us can work to sustain the noble and courageous tradition of those who came before us. Thank you.
Good morning, class of 2023. My name is Nancy Wells Hamilton, and I am a graduate of the class of 1977 and chair of Skidmore's Board of Trustees. Welcome, President Connor, Mrs. Barbara Reyes Connor, members of the class of 2023, and to the faculty, family, friends, and distinguished guests joining us today in person and virtually. On behalf of the Skidmore College Board of Trustees, I want to warmly welcome you to the 112th commencement ceremony of this extraordinary institution. We are celebrating its centennial anniversary, and of course, commencement is taking place here at the Saratoga Performing Arts Center, a Skidmore tradition since 1967. To the class of 2023, yesterday, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to confer degrees upon you. Congratulations. In considering my remarks for today, it dawned on me that my first year at Skidmore in 1973 was 50, that's 50, years ago. Yes, I am that young. But it also impressed upon me how much the world has changed. Indeed, even if the Earth is not turning faster on its axis, the world certainly is. To give you an idea, here are a couple of innovations and inventions since my first year at Skidmore. 1973, cell phones. They were the size of bricks. 1975, digital cameras. There were no selfies, and the number of photos you were able to take was limited to the number of exposures you purchased on a roll of film for your camera. And then you had to pay a third party so that you could see them. The first satellite for GPS was launched in 1978, and it wasn't until 2000 that President Clinton gave non-military persons access to unscrambled GPS systems. 1996, Google, the search engine that has now become a verb. 1999, Bluetooth. 2001, Wikipedia. 2004, Facebook. 2005, Google Maps. When was the last time, if ever, you all bought a map at a gas station? 2001, iPhones. 2009, Bitcoins. And then, in November 2022, ChatGPT was released. It goes without saying that it's your generation's revolutionary change in technology is AI, which is transformative in ways we cannot begin to imagine. Though, beware deep fakes, AI imposter voices on your cell phone, and falling in love with your emotionally attractive computer. Each has touched our lives, informed, influenced, and shaped the world we live in, sometimes positively, sometimes negatively. All touch on our personal lives, free speech, and privacy. How will we face the new technological challenges ahead? No one knows what the future holds. But this I do know for sure. You, the class of 2023, have already proven yourselves ready to face the future and its unexpected challenges. You entered college in the fall of 2019 with great expectations and excitement. But then in March 2020, you were not able to come back from spring break due to the pandemic that crossed the country. That summer, a pivotal decision was made by President Connor, his cabinet, the faculty, and the Board of Trustees to bring you back to campus, residential life, Skidmore and Saratoga. Many other colleges chose a different path, but you returned, you adapted to new protocols and class settings, you thrived, and here you are today. Creative thought really does matter. You've proven yourselves to be resilient and forward-thinking. Nonetheless, let me leave you with this. Continue to challenge yourselves to engage, question, and research the facts, especially those underlying talking points. Question the sources. Be open to others' points of view, to change, and keep an eye out for opportunity. It will be uncomfortable, but don't let that stop you. You have the gift, and yes, the privilege, of your Skidmore education. Be proud of it. Your Skidmore experience has prepared you to meet the world head-on. Remember the adage, to whom much is given, much will be required. Practice gratitude daily. Gratitude is a social emotion that strengthens relationships, and its roots run deep in evolutionary history, hearkening back to the survival value of helping others and being helped in return. Besides, it makes you feel happier, and studies have shown that it has a lasting positive effect on your brain. But as President John F. Kennedy said, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Today would be a good time to start. Please express your gratitude to your family and friends. With this in mind, keep in sight the immutable touchstones of family and community. In other words, the human touch. And finally, as Mark Twain wrote, quote, 20 years from now, you will likely be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than the ones that you did do. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. Come back to Skidmore often, share your experiences, and enjoy. We look forward to your return and tales of your adventures. Best wishes, good luck, safe travels. Thank you.
Oh, there's so many emotions on a day like this. And the primary one for me right now is just enormous gratitude. Just a sense of thankfulness, a sense of blessing, particularly gratitude to all of you and what you've done to get here. I'm so honored to be your president and to have a moment to speak to you today. So, in the early 1970s, a young man was preparing to enter the priesthood. It wasn't me. As he contemplated this immense transition, an answer to a spiritual calling, he wrote what became one of the most famous hymns of the past century, "Be Not Afraid." Be not afraid. Class of 2023, as I look out upon you all and think about the immense transition that you're embarking upon, your own search for your calling, those words seem exactly right for this historical moment. Be not afraid. Why, after all, have thousands of us gathered here on this day? What brings us together? What need does this fulfill? Well, I think there are three reasons, and they are fundamental not just to today, but to what it means to be human. So first, we gather today to show honor. Today we honor our students, and you are indeed ours. You are the students of your great faculty. You are the students of the staff who work so tirelessly to support you, feed you, protect you, and guide you. You are my students. As I stand here as your president, feeling enormous pride in all that you have accomplished. And especially you are the students, the children, the loved ones of your family and your friends, many of whom are able to be here in person, many of whom are watching from afar, and all sending such proud emotions to you now that I think this atmosphere is humming with that love. Class of 2023, we gather to honor who you are, what you've done, and what you will do in the years to come. Second, we gather to celebrate. This is your moment, and it's also the moment of all those folk that I just mentioned. And when we celebrate, we signal to the world what we most value. Today we signal that we value education and the opportunities it will provide. We value the liberal arts and the perspectives and possibilities that it gives. We value this college, which has been impacting young persons' lives for over a century. And most of all, we value you, the great class of 2023. And third, we gather to witness. In the religious sense, where witness means to be in the presence of something awesome, something that you don't ever want to forget, something you want to tell other people about, and you want to chronicle. And so all of us here promise to remember this moment and all that it means. And that's part of what sustains us in those challenging times ahead. That memory of meaningful moments in our lives helps us move into the future. Moments like this will help you be not afraid. There's a fearless quality to the class of 2023 and all you've done during your time at Skidmore. When I think of all that Barb and I have watched you do this year, it's just remarkable. I'll give a short list, and feel free to shout out if you want. The amazing dance performances. The Startup Skidmore Business Workshop and Competition. Music concerts in Zankel. The women's tennis and basketball teams winning the Liberty League titles. The riding team winning the national championship. The theater performance of After Jane. The senior art exhibit in the Tang. I could take up a couple of hours this way, and it'd be a lot of fun. But honestly, I don't know of any other liberal arts college in the world where the students do so much and they do it all so well. And of course, you have done all this during a historically challenging time. As just for a moment, think about how COVID shaped your college experience. And you know the story. A normal start to the first year of college, and then by God, in March, the entire world changed. And college became something quite other than what you had expected. Coming back for that sophomore year in that world of constant anxiety, that awful term, social distancing, and the age of the mask. But we did it. We came back. We got through. And then the junior year, when things were better, no question, but not as better as we had all hoped. And finally, this senior year, still inflected by the pandemic, but so much closer to what college is supposed to be. And I realize that you all represent the generation of the pandemic. Your 4 years are the 4-year arc of what the world has gone through. And it has not been an easy time. But I wonder how in the years to come you will remember your experience at Skidmore during the global pandemic. I hope you will think with justifiable pride about your endurance, your grit, your tenacity, the creativity you showed in getting not just yourself, but this entire campus through this challenging time. And especially, and I know you've heard me say it many times, but I will never stop saying it, the care you showed to each other. That was the key. That's how Skidmore got through COVID. That culture of caring sustained us, and I hope that commitment to a caring community is what is most memorable to you in the years to come. Because these values, endurance, grit, creativity, kindness, community, these are the touchstones of what the ancient philosophers called the life well lived. And these are the values, these are the very motto of your college. Creative thought matters. A community of trust. This is what we believe, it's what we teach, and it's what you as a class embody. How appropriate that during your senior year, Skidmore broke ground on a major project, the McCaffrey-Wegman Tennis and Wellness Center, dedicated to the health and wellness of all of our students. I can think of no more pressing need on a residential college campus today than the holistic health and wellness of our students. I've often said that at Skidmore, we don't just build buildings, we build concepts. And that's especially true of this project, the concept of health and wellness, which again is testament to the care we take for one another. And it's that sense of care that is your legacy to our college. So I hope you feel great pride in what you are bequeathing to the many students who will come after you. Indeed, you are leaving our college even better than you found it, and that is remarkable given the time that you've been through. You should hear how our staff speak about you. In student affairs, advancement, dining, campus safety, admissions, our staff rave about you. And how about a round of applause for the staff who have made all of this happen today? When the staff sing your praises, that tells you how special this class is. And of course, your faculty. Think for a moment what they have gone through, what they have done over these past 4 years to give you the best undergraduate teaching in the country. They've given you the experiences and the tools you need to thrive in this incredibly complex, ever-changing global environment. The faculty are the life's blood of a great college, and I invite you to join me in applause for our Skidmore faculty. I'll close with this. Last month, we held a national symposium on speech and expression on college campuses with an inspiring panel of 5 students from your class of 2023. And we learned that at the heart of freedom of speech is the commitment to listen. Listening is the companion verb to caring. When we listen, we connect, we understand, we affirm the dignity of others. Doesn't mean we always agree, nor that we don't argue. Quite the contrary, to truly disagree, we need first to listen. Through listening, we uphold our common humanity and our commitment to democracy that is at the very heart of what is most hopeful in the human enterprise. Now, I embrace that hopefulness, but this is a time that challenges our hope. You are living through one of the most stressful times for democracy in the history of this country. The idea of a people working together to determine the most just pathways for the greatest good, that idea is under threat. And we might think this is indeed a very dispiriting time. But again, how might we be able to look at this in 10 years, in 25 years? I submit that we could look back on this time and see it as the moment when democracy showed its strength, when justice, compassion, compromise, and the fundamental rights demonstrated their resilience. This could be the time when democracy put to the test showed once again its great strength and endurance. We may well be living in a time that will be an inspiration for decades to come. This is what Ralph Ellison evoked when he stood in 1953 as the first African American to win the National Book Award for his magisterial novel, Invisible Man. Ellison said, "The way home we seek is that condition of being at home in the world, which is called love and which we term democracy." Home, love, democracy. These are the values Ellison urged and that I see in Skidmore and all of you today. As I grow older, I find that I tend to pray more and judge less, and to seek beyond the narrow confines of my own ego to listen to the amazing people all around me. Some of my favorite moments this year have just been walking the campus, in and out of Burgess, walking around and listening to the amazing people all around me. I think often of the beautiful prayer to St. Francis, that patron of all living things, who says, "Grant that I may not so much seek to be understood as to understand." And I hope that is part of what your Skidmore education has given you. So Skidmore class of 2023, these values will sustain you as you go forward. I thank you for all you have given to our Skidmore. Know that you are always welcome back to your college. And now as you leave us, I say once again, be not afraid. Thank you so much. Now, it is the privilege of a great liberal arts college to acknowledge the extraordinary contributions of certain noble individuals by awarding to them honorary degrees. If you would approach.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Dr. Mary Schmidt Campbell, art historian, museum curator, author, and astute administrator. You entered the workforce in your first job as a Bell telephone operator. After earning a Bachelor of Art degree from Swarthmore College, you journeyed to teach English literature at the Nkumbi International College in Zambia. At 27, you became the curator of the Everson Museum of Fine Arts in Syracuse, New York, and the art editor of Syracuse New Times. From 1977 to 1987, you were the first female executive director of the Studio Museum in Harlem. In 1987, New York's late Mayor Ed Koch invited you to serve as the city's Cultural Affairs Commissioner. For nearly 23 years, you were the Dean of New York University's Tisch School of the Arts. In September 2009, former President Barack Obama appointed you as the Vice Chair of the President's Committee on the Arts and Humanities. You came out of retirement in August 2015 to serve as the 10th President of Spelman College. After exceeding your $250 million fundraising goal, you retired from Spelman College in June of 2022. You are a contributor to several publications and the author of Harlem Renaissance, Art of Black America, An American Odyssey, and the life and work of Ramir Bearden. While your diverse achievements speak to roles you embodied through practice, your ubiquitous influence is felt by the many emerging artists, students, and colleagues you have empowered through your impactful and compassionate leadership. You have lived a life of service as a stalwart supporter of the arts, positioning the museum as an educational institution where the words of many emerging Black artists, such as Ramir Bearden, Jacob Lawrence, Betty Saar, and Howardina Pindell, were ennobled into the legacy of art history. I stand before you as a primary source of your impact. As a Black woman who's a product of an HBCU education, your presence as a thought leader, rich with purpose and artistic adroitness, held space for new possibilities for me and others like me, and affirmed that we are our best thing, and we have the choice to give of great worth and change the world. So, beyond the successes of institutional programs and upgrades to technology infrastructures and leading distinguished institutions of higher education to their highest level of artistic and academic excellence, your humanity accompanies your brilliance. For your prescient leadership and decades of service to the role of the arts in the cultural and ethical landscape of America, President Connor, it is my honor to present Mary Schmidt Campbell for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Mary Schmidt Campbell, visionary leader in higher education, art historian, and museum curator, by virtue of the authority of the state of New York, vested by the Regents in the Trustees of Skidmore College and by them designated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Dean Orr will invest you with the hood that symbolizes your degree, and it is my honor to present you with your diploma. Mary Schmidt Campbell, I now invite you to address our class of 2023.
Thank you so much, President Connor. And Tisha, thank you. That introduction was luminous. Thank you so much. Class of 2023, congratulations. And congratulations to all the family and friends who've traveled from all over the country, all over the world, to celebrate a graduating senior. Congratulations to you. President Connor, Skidmore trustees, my fellow honoree, honored faculty speaker, honored student speaker, Skidmore faculty, students, staff, and friends. What an honor it is to be here this morning. I've always felt a special connection to Skidmore. 50 years ago, yeah, I'm of that era too. 50 years ago, when I was an undergraduate at Swarthmore College, people would come up to me and say, so where do you go to school? And I'd say, Swarthmore. And they say, oh, that's that great school up in upstate New York, in Saratoga? When I served as chair of the New York State Council on the Arts many years ago, everybody on my staff said, you have to visit Skidmore. It is, when it comes to the arts on a college campus, it is a national treasure. And I visited, and they were right. And as I looked at the majors of the graduating seniors, I saw that the arts and humanities continue to thrive, right along with the sciences and STEM fields. But I will tell you, that balance is an increasingly rare phenomenon at American colleges and universities. So President Connor, I applaud you and the college for holding on to your educational values. So graduates, here you are, ready to launch from the safe harbor of this magnificent campus into the world. And you've already shown your bravery and your courage by coming back to campus and weathering this pandemic storm. But now that we're all emerging out of the storm of COVID, we look around our country, we look around this nation, and we see our sense of community, our sense of connection feels so frayed and battered. And I look at this world and I think, well, what was the world like when I graduated 50 years ago? When I think of my years in high school, the civil rights movement was in the ascent. And I will tell you, at that moment, there was a sense of hope and possibility that surged through this country. We were going to end legal separatism. We were going to win equality for everybody. But by the time I got to college, by the time I graduated in 1969, a sitting president had been assassinated. Any number of our moral leaders, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Senator Kennedy, senator from New York, had all been felled by violence. Our great urban centers were exploding in those years with rage, with civil insurrections, leaving in their wake depleted and broken neighborhoods. All of the promise of civil rights seemed to be fading rapidly. I started my career, my professional career, didn't really start at Bell Telephone Company as an operator, but my professional career really started in New York City, in one of those battered urban centers. When I came to New York, the city was on the verge of bankruptcy and had appealed to then President Gerald Ford for a bailout, for help. President Ford's response generated the now famous Daily News headline, "Ford to City, Drop Dead." Yet, for the next 4 decades, the city did not drop dead. Quite the contrary. Instead, it performed an astonishing feat. Its citizens took action. Citizens at the highest level of state and municipal government reached across party lines. Bankers talked to unionists, who talked to real estate moguls, who engaged philanthropies, who partnered with ordinary citizens, many of them creative artists, to salvage communities and neighborhoods in all 5 boroughs. And believe me, when I tell you that the city was broken, you cannot even imagine. To ride the subway meant to encounter tract fires. There were labor strikes all over the city with garbage piling up or no transportation at all. The crime rates were 5 and 7 times what they are now. And physically, the city was a wreck. There were more abandoned and boarded up buildings than there were functioning ones. But I had come to New York with an idea. I was an art history major. Everybody told me it was the most useless major I could possibly have chosen. But I was passionate. I was determined I was going to use that major to document the history and the legacy of Black artists and Black culture in this country. And so I came to this place called the Studio Museum in Harlem, and it was a museum because it was really a loft over a purple discount liquor store and a Kentucky Fried Chicken. But it had big ambitions. It was going to be the first accredited Black fine arts museum in the country. It was if they could see past all of the wreckage and see a future that they could invent and build for themselves. Our museum had very little financial resources. I remember my sister came to visit me one winter. And we stood inside the galleries, and the galleries had no heat. They very often had no heat. And when we talked to each other, you could see our breath inside of the museum. And my sister said many years later that she went home that evening and she wept and said a prayer for me. We had very little financial capital, but we had abundant human capital. With a tiny staff and outrageously creative artists, we mounted exhibitions, published catalogs, brought art education back to the art-starved schools in Harlem. We filled artist studios with residencies that engaged members of the Harlem community. Over time, we learned that human capital is not enough, and we had to figure out how to get some financial capital, how to amass assets, own a building, build a permanent collection, win accreditation. Over time, Harlem as a community came to see itself reflected in what we did at that museum. And the community began to revive itself. Over time, it became a linchpin for the revitalization of the 125th Street corridor, a magnet for businesses, restaurants, and visitors from all over New York and all over the world. So imagine my surprise when I became New York's cultural commissioner and discovered Studio Museum was not an anomaly. All over the city, citizens groups in Chelsea, the South Bronx, Long Island City, Fort Greene, Brooklyn, Staten Island were defying the decay and disarray around them. And in order to do that, they had to reach across grand canyons of political, cultural, racial, and geographical differences with a sense of common purpose, to restore a great city that had been lost. As a government official working in partnership with many of the cultural institutions, I came to believe what E.B. White wrote in his famous 1949 book, This is New York, and that is, the city is a, quote, visible symbol of aspiration and faith. I read those words today and I think, so too are the ideals of this country, symbols of aspiration and faith. So graduates, there's work to be done, but our history tells us that it can be done. Don't believe the doomsayers. You have the power to see and create what has not yet been invented. The gift of a Skidmore education is that you leave with a sense of the power of the possible. Skidmore hones your critical thinking skills, your ability to solve problems, to work collaboratively. It gifted you with the fearlessness of your imagination and the capacity, as Beckett counsels, to fail, fail again, fail better. At the end of my career, I got to see that kind of history at work yet again. I had the great privilege of serving as president of Spelman College. Spelman was born 20 years after the Civil War, and it was designed specifically for recently emancipated Black women. And it was designed to give them a first-rate education, bar none. The first class took place 142 years ago in a soot-filled basement of a Black church in Atlanta. Now, according to the National Science Foundation, it's the country's #1 producer of Black women who earn PhDs in STEM fields. What I loved about this college is that every day, and every day for 142 years, we would remind our students and remind ourselves of the power of the possible and the power of faith. So let me leave you this morning with a poem that I used to make as a gift to the graduates of the Tisch School of the Arts. The poem is by a British poet, Christopher Logue, who wrote the poem on the anniversary of the death of another poet, a French poet, Apollinaire, and it goes like this. Come to the edge, we might fall. Come to the edge, it's too high. Come to the edge. So they came, and he pushed, and they flew. Congratulations.
Frederick Lawrence, teacher, scholar, leader, and advocate. As the 10th Secretary and CEO of the Phi Beta Kappa Society, which was founded in 1776 as the nation's first and still the most prestigious honor society. You oversee nearly 300 chapters and 50 alumni associations, including the one here at Skidmore College, where yesterday you helped induct 42 new members of the class of 2023. From your position as Secretary and CEO of the Phi Beta Kappa Society, you have traveled the country to advocate for liberal education in the arts, humanities, and sciences, for academic freedom and free inquiry, and for free expression and vigorous civility on college campuses. You have made the case for free expression and respectful dialogue in settings ranging from Fox News to the University of Southern California, as well as here at Skidmore College yesterday and previously in 2017. You have testified before Congress in support of free expression and civil discourse on college campuses, as well as on federal hate crime legislation. Indeed, you are one of the nation's leading experts on civil rights, free expression, and bias crimes. You examined bias-motivated violence and the laws governing it in the United States in your book, Punishing Hate, Bias Crimes Under American Law. A distinguished teacher, scholar, and attorney, you previously served as president of Brandeis University, dean of the George Washington University Law School, professor of law at Boston University School of Law, and visiting professor and senior research scholar at Yale Law School. You continue to teach law at Georgetown University's Law Center. You received a bachelor's degree from Williams College, where you were elected to Phi Beta Kappa. You received a law degree in 1980 from Yale Law School, where you were an editor of the Yale Law Journal, and you began your legal career as an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York in the 1980s, before becoming chief of the Civil Rights Unit. Having spent your professional career advocating for the arts and sciences, civil liberties and human rights, academic freedom and free expression, both nationally and internationally, you have fought to strengthen higher education and civil society. President Connor, it is my honor and privilege to present Frederick Lawrence for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Frederick M. Lawrence, scholar, teacher, and civil rights expert, by virtue of the authority of the state of New York, vested by the Regents in the trustees of Skidmore College and by them delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Dean Orr will invest you with the hood that symbolizes your degree, and it is my honor to present you with this diploma. Frederick Lawrence, I now invite you to address our class of 2023.
I cannot tell you how deeply touched and grateful I am to be receiving this honorary degree from Skidmore College. I, too, have a long-standing and deep connection with this institution. As Kate Burhide, my dear friend and colleague, just mentioned, I've been privileged to be part of the discussions on this campus of free speech and academic freedom, of decency and dignity and inclusion, themes that do not pull in different directions but properly understood reinforce each other. I've had the opportunity to visit here some years earlier when my daughter was involved in the New York State Writers Institute and served on the Salmagundi influential magazine. And perhaps more to the point, since 50 years seems to be the theme, 50 years ago this coming fall, as a nervous freshman from Williams College coming to what was then called the Mixer on the Green, and because the drinking age was then 18, I was able to hold on to a nervous glass of a cup of beer, and if someone had told that undergraduate then that 50 years later he would stand here to receive an honorary degree, I'm quite sure he would have taken a deep drink from that beer. Yes, Williams College on the other side of the Petersburg Pass, what President Connor reminds me is the Skidmore of Massachusetts. Congratulations to the class of 2023, to all of the graduates, their families, their friends, to my friend and colleague, my fellow honoree, who honors me by sharing the stage with me, Mary Schmidt Campbell. Thank you and congratulations. That's really the essence of a commencement address, isn't it? So maybe I ought to let it go at that. You know, my experience has been that no one ever leaves one of these ceremonies and says, my only regret is I wish the speaker spoke a little longer. And yet, I hope you'll give me just a few minutes to explore out loud, particularly with my, if I may, fellow members of the class of 2023, a question that I suspect you have asked yourselves sometime over the past 4 years. It's a question that a well-meaning aunt or uncle has undoubtedly asked you. It's a question that a perhaps not so well-meaning high school friend who didn't go to college has asked you. I want to say the quiet part out loud. On this day of celebration, was it worth it? Was it worth it, these 4 years? Now, my answer, it will not surprise you, is an emphatic yes, but I suspect not for the reasons you imagine. Yes, you've been prepared for the beginning of your careers, and yes, most surveys show that whatever the difference between starting salaries of liberal arts graduates and those trained in certain technical fields, liberal arts graduates ultimately catch up and usually exceed their technical colleagues in compensation. But that is in fact not my main reason for saying that your education here at Skidmore has indeed been worth it. My real reasons are best expressed in the form of 2 exhortations and 1 wish. So let's start with the first exhortation. It concerns the need to deal constructively with change, even radical change. Now, I think I hardly need to speak to the class of 2023 about change. For most of you, as we have been talking this morning, you began here in the fall of 2019, which feels like an awfully long time ago. If someone had said to you then, this is what's going to happen over the next 4 years, I'm quite sure you would have said, don't make me do it. I won't be able to do it. But you did, and here we are. To say that the change was unimaginable is to grossly understatement. Remote learning, quarantining, masking. Hey, the expression, you're on mute, wouldn't have meant anything to you 4 years ago. And as we gather here today, we feel ourselves in the midst of significant transformation. Now, the concern with constant change is hardly new. Indeed, it was 2.5 millennia ago that the Greek philosopher Heraclitus said that change is the only constant in life. Perhaps it's the arrogance of our time, but I think it is fair to say that the pace of change is accelerating and is faster than ever before. As our math colleagues would tell us, this is a second derivative problem, not a first derivative problem. And for the 12 people in the crowd who got that, thank you very much. Change, especially widespread social change, can cause fear, and it's a kind of fear that can lead to an impulse to resist the messiness of pluralism, of uncertainty, and of democracy itself, and replace it with a false and a forced certainty based in authoritarianism. The essential need for liberal education in a functioning democracy was affirmed in a 2020 report by my colleagues at Georgetown University at the Center for Education and Workforce in a paper called The Role of Education in Taming Authoritarian Attributes. The report examined the role of colleges and universities in relation to the challenge of rising authoritarianism at the global level and at the resulting threat to democracies. The study found that liberal arts students are less inclined to adopt attitudes of political intolerance, signified by the inclination towards the repression of free speech, xenophobia, nativism, racism, ethnocentrism, and religious sectarianism. The distinctively American tradition of liberal education, so exquisitely embodied here at Skidmore, is not only appropriate to democracy, it is essential to its very survival. For it is liberal education that fosters the sustained engagement of free individuals committed to our shared values of justice, of liberty, of human dignity, and of equality of persons. These fundamental democratic ends are fortified by liberal education's emphasis on evidence-based reasoning, encouraging dialogue across difference, cultivating rational debate, and engendering the habits of heart and mind that both equip students and disposes them to civic involvement. A liberal arts education enables students not to resist social change, but to deploy subtle reasoning to understand and to shape that change, to help create a more just and a more inclusive society. So my first exhortation is to embrace change and to draw on the habits of heart and mind that you have developed here at Skidmore to see change not as something threatening, but as something promising, not as something happening to you, but as something you participate in creating. I loved your reaction to the reference to artificial intelligence. There are many who find this a source of fear. You clearly find it a source of promise and opportunity and inspiration. Thank you. And yet, not all the change of our time is exciting and promising. What are the changes disrupting the very fabric of our democracy through widespread disinformation? What of the change in a shared set of values to seek to continue what the founders of our republic in their unfinished goal called creating a more perfect union dedicated to equality and inclusion? What of the changes that question the scientific method as a means of understanding our world, to say nothing of the changes in the very ecosystem that supports life on this planet? That's a lot. And it explains, I think, the findings that symptoms of depression and related anxiety disorders have dramatically increased over the past years. How are we meant to confront that kind of change? My second exhortation comes from the great Austrian psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, who emerged from the horrors of the concentration camps of mid-century Europe to create a new school of psychotherapy, which he called logotherapy, that is, the human search for meaning. Frankl taught us that we often have little or no control over the circumstances that we face in life, but we always retain infinite control over how we will face those circumstances. Or as Maya Angelou put it, you may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. So my second exhortation is actually quite similar to the first, isn't it? Do not view the events of your life and your world as things that are happening to you, but rather as things to which you will respond. Decide, as Angelou said, not to be reduced to them. Decide, as Frankl said, how you will respond to them. Decide right now that you will seek to decide as often and as much as possible. And now, finally, my wish for you. This also comes from the great Maya Angelou. She famously said, "I have learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel." In the days and years ahead, may those you meet along the journey, those you have met here, remember you well for how you made them feel, because whatever else changes, that, I assure you, will last forever. What you have learned here from your teachers, more so what you have learned here from each other, is precisely how to do that. Yes, class of 2023, it was worth it. Congratulations.
I have had what many would consider some cool experiences in my life. I grew up in East Africa. I was a soldier before becoming a Skidmore professor. I've thrown a ceremonial first pitch at a World Series baseball game. And I've lived in Mississippi. Okay, maybe that one's not so cool, huh? But how many Koreans you know that can claim that, right? But this is the coolest thing that I will have ever done in my life, and that is to speak in front of the graduating class of 2023. It's truly an honor to address you on this great day of significance. As others have said before me, you are the most resilient class. You lived and studied through a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. And I survived the pandemic, baby. He's back there right now. But the pandemic was a stark reminder that we live in a global world. I'm originally from South Korea, but like I said, I was raised in Kenya. And I came to the US to attend college as an international student. When you were about, international students? I came when you were about 3 years old. Not 50. The film Mean Girls, starring Lindsay Lohan, had just come out. And it's about a white girl from Africa struggling to adjust to American culture. And I could have sworn that this film was based on my life. Not the part where I'm the white girl. Today, I want to pose to you two interrelated questions. The post-colonial scholar Frantz Fanon writes in his book, The Wretched of the Earth, each generation must discover its mission, fulfill it, or betray it. My questions are, how will you live in this global world? And what is your generational mission? The American story is a story of globalization. The history of US economic growth is in many ways a history of migrants. Some of the most iconic American companies were established by immigrants. Andrew Carnegie, Samuel Goldwyn, Adolphus Busch of Anheuser-Busch. Right? Some of you drank his Budweisers last night, or should I say this morning, right? NBC, Google, Yahoo, eBay were all started by immigrants. And the Chinese Americans built the transcontinental railroads, and when slavery ended, they picked the cotton down in Mississippi. Our world has been one of interconnections, contact, linkages, and interrelationships. We have been living in a globalizing world throughout all of human history. Columbus sailed for the Indies, and he famously missed his mark. But the entity of Asia was central to the possibility called America. Our modernity is bound up in relation to others around the world, and our modernity could not have been achieved without others. Modernity is not unitary, but occurs in multiplicity. Kimchi, the Korean pickled cabbage with red chili peppers, right? A food that's at the core of my identity, right? Also has a global connection. The red chili pepper is something that is not native to Asia. It's a produce that's native to the Americas. And it was introduced to Asia in the 1500s via trade. So we Koreans had kimchi, but it wasn't always red. And let's not forget the role of sugar in the British diet. Everyone now drinks tea with sugar. And over the last couple centuries, sugar has evolved from rarity to luxury to now a necessity. But behind sweetness is the slave trade, exploitation, and transnationalism. The blood of the whole world runs through us. And regardless of whether you've never stepped foot outside America or whether your family has stayed put in your small town USA, the world has been on the move. And whether you've never moved, the world moved around you. Your generation must decide how you'll define yourselves, not simply by your nationality, but as an individual living in this global world. You can deny our global interconnections, or you can recognize that our greater concern is with the whole of humanity. Will you leave the world a better place than you found it, liberated from misogyny, from bigotry, from pollution, from rampant inequality? Then be the change you want to see in the world. Despite graduating, you might think that true life will only begin after you get that job, after med school, after that master's degree. Parents, you thought that real life was gonna begin when these kids went off to college, and then COVID happened, and you found them back home on Zoom. For real life to begin, there always seems to be some obstacle to first overcome. But these obstacles are our lives. And while we live, we must set our aim high, not simply for that next promotion or that next job, but dream the life that you want to live. Dream the world that you want to see. Dream what others do not. And don't let others determine your limit. But keep that dream deep inside your heart, because even your closest friends and family will tell you that you can't. You might be familiar with the biblical story found in Genesis. Joseph shared his dreams, and his brothers sold him for 20 shekels of silver. Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world, and the first successful summit was in 1953. And until 1988, the success rate was about 20%. But since then, the success rate has increased to now 60%. So why? There are many factors, but one answer is that the base camp was moved up to a higher elevation. Everest is about over 8,000 meters tall, so base camp was moved from 4,000 to 5,000 meters. So there are two lessons here. First, aim for Everest and not the Adirondacks. Two, your climb may feel daunting, but life might simply require these little shifts. Shifts to your base camp and shifts in how you prepare for and embark on your climb. One of my favorite quotes that I live by is this: the greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it. It's okay to fail, for you can try again and fail again. But next time, you might fail with more knowledge and experience and with more passion and humility than before. You might fail, but it's not failure when you're working toward your dream. It is in these attempts that you will find the building blocks for new possibilities and for uncommon success. To conclude, today is a joyous day, and I know that you're anxious to celebrate, and I'm anxious to fly out of the country tomorrow to South Korea. But I hope that you'll remember this: each generation is born into a specific historical moment that presents its own peculiar challenges. That's the task that you face as a graduate: discerning your path as an individual within our collective humanity and discovering your mission. So, class of 2023, what is your generational mission? Thank you and congratulations.
How y'all feeling, seniors? Good morning, families, friends, loved ones, esteemed faculty and staff, the Board of Trustees, and our distinguished honorary degree recipients and guests. My name is Izzy Beatriz Mejia. Please join me in congratulating the class of 2023. Today, like a lot of the people on this stage, I stand in awe of all of you. We have faced unprecedented challenges and overcome obstacles amidst a global pandemic that has profoundly affected our lives. COVID-19 has reshaped our lives, requiring us to adapt and find new ways of learning, living, and connecting. Despite facing virtual learning, social isolation, and an uncertain future, we persevered, and here we are. Now, as you all sit before me as fellow graduates ready to conquer the world, let us not forget those who have suffered during this time, those who have experienced loss and hardship. As we celebrate together, let us support one another and carry the valuable lessons from this pandemic into our future journeys. The biggest lesson I took from this pandemic is that community is priceless. The class of 2023 exemplifies, the power of community, both in its creation and participation. As we emerged from the pandemic, there was so much hope and excitement about resuming events and gathering. And this year, we successfully did just that. Yeah. We reconvened for various celebrations, including the 50 Days Dance, Junior Ring, Big Show, Big Green Scream, Skidmania, Earth Day, the Ujima Fashion Show, and the Leadership Banquet. These events, along with many others, provided me with a similar sense of solace and comfort that sancocho, a traditional Dominican stew, brings me. Just as each spoonful of sancocho embraces me when I miss home, attending these events embraced me with each teaspoon of commitment, effort, and love that you all contributed. I often conceptualize many of the things in my life through the imagery of cooking. Growing up, my grandparents, or mama and papa as I call them, taught me that love is the key ingredient in every dish. And I believe it applies to all aspects of our lives. Please bear with me as I share a story in Spanish for my family, and I promise to follow up with a brief translation for you all. Siempre me dijeron que la comida de mamá es deliciosa porque la cocina con amor. Y si tú también cocinas con amor, te saldrá bien. El amor ha sido una fuerza que impulsa a mi familia. Desde pequeña, el amor ha sido un valor fundamental en mis enseñanzas. Mi abuelo, Isidro Faña, quien hubiera cumplido 86 años el 15 de mayo, nos personifica ese amor. Aunque ya no está con nosotros, le dedico este diploma, pues el amor ha sido mi ancla durante estos últimos 4 años. Sorry, y'all, give me one sec. Es el regalo más hermoso que mi familia me ha dado. Y me motiva cada día sabiendo que hacerlo sentir orgulloso es solo una parte de lo que se merecen. A mi querida familia, gracias por darme todo lo que nadie más me diera. Los amo con todo mi corazón. While narrating the story in Spanish may have altered the flow of the speech, it was important to me to honor my family in the language they best comprehend. But to summarize, my grandmother's cooking was always infused with love, which she claimed was the secret behind her finger-licking good food. Like, it's good, y'all. While I initially learned about the value of love through our time spent together in the kitchen, my grandfather truly embodied the essence of love. Although he is no longer with us, I dedicate this diploma to him because love has been the foundation, my foundation, throughout these 4 years. And so, as I've been reflecting on the last 4 years, I think about all the ingredients that make us who we are today. Because I think I can speak for all of us when I say we are not who we were when we first arrived in 2019. But of all the things that contributed to our growth, I find myself returning to love. Maybe it's because I feel most centered when I'm surrounded by love. And let's just say that the task of creating a speech not only meant to resonate, but to inspire a crowd this large is not always centering. But as I sat for hours on my laptop finding the words to say to you all, I was quickly reminded that I was able to accomplish some of my greatest achievements here because they related to topics, communities, and people that I loved. And when you commit yourself to returning to love as an action, as a practice, and not as a feeling, you are able to nourish yourself and those around you. When we embrace love as a practice, we open ourselves up to experiencing more joy, fulfillment, and meaningful connections with others. So what better way to bring us all together than to remind you of the force that is love? Skidmore's love comforted me during the challenging transition from a New York City public school to a predominantly white institution in Saratoga Springs. It wasn't easy. I felt it on sunny days at Case Green in the company of close friends when we were all just happy that finals were over and the sun was out, and through morning affirmations. It also existed within various communities like OSTP, SGA, Crown, the Black Studies Program, ACA, the Cooking Club, PHEs, Raices, and many others. Love, according to the esteemed Black feminist bell hooks, requires teaspoons of care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, trust, and honest communication. To perfect this recipe of love, it takes a village. So stay open to new experiences and new connections. As a Black queer femme, I understand the world's challenges, and I know it's not always easy to embrace love, but embracing it brings beauty to our lives. If you ever find yourself questioning your success, know I believe in the love that you all embody. And as my grandma said, as long as you do it with love, it will turn out great. It's been an honor serving as your senior class president. Congratulations to the class of 2023. I wish you all nothing but abundance and so much love in your lives, and look forward to witnessing all your future achievements. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Lewis, and I'm here with Idhi Singh. I hope everybody is enjoying commencement thus far. It is astounding to see so many people coming together to celebrate this special moment for Skidmore's class of 2023. Together, Idhi and I are the co-chairs of the Senior Gift Committee. Senior Gift is a tradition where we as seniors make a gift back to Skidmore in honor of our time on campus. We have worked together with the executive committee throughout the past year to raise money for our senior class gift. In total, 380 seniors, comprising 64% of this year's class, have made a gift. Thank you, class of 2023, for this amazing accomplishment. This is the highest number of donors in recent years. Our total gift of over $6,300 will support many different campus initiatives, including the Opportunity Program, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, sustainability, athletics, as well as scholarships and financial aid. We are happy to have been able to contribute to the advancement of education and opportunities for current and future Skidmore students. Thank you. Now I'll be passing it off to Idhi.
Thank you, Alex. And it's incredible to see everyone smiling today. I know we've talked a little bit about the pandemic, but truly it was something that haunted all of us, and we didn't know if this was going to happen and if we would see each other without masks again. That's also part of the reason why I chose to lead the efforts of Senior Gift, because I wanted to meet more members of the graduating class. And I'm lucky enough that during this journey, I've made some new friends. A shout out to Executive Committee members, Bobby Stratz, Gianna Grillo, Jose Nunez, and Jess Roman. And also, thank you to Adam Wald as well for your mentorship and guidance this year. Senior Gift would not be possible without you. And in general, a question we received often this year was, what is Senior Gift? It's about leaving Skidmore in a better place, leaving it better for current and new Skidmore students to help them have more opportunities, whether it's a scholarship, support for travel for sports teams, or a sustainability initiative. Every gift matters and is a way of leaving your mark. At the end of the day, giving back to what was given to you helps ensure opportunities for future classes of bright, brilliant, and resilient students. It's interesting that we call this ceremony commencement because commencement refers to the beginning of something new. So, may the future hold new and exciting opportunities. And remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Thank you, Skidmore.
Good afternoon. I'm Rob Resnick from the class of 1988. And don't worry, I see you all looking at your watches and looking at your programs. I know I'm the last thing before the graduates get to walk this stage. And yes, I will be brief. As president of the Alumni Association, I have the pleasure of welcoming you all as the newest members of the Alumni Association. And as you come across the stage and as you get your diplomas, I'll also be collecting your dues. No, I won't, but I do want you to know that as you come across the stage, I will be presenting you with a gift from the Alumni Association. So don't run past me. We have something for you that I think you'll like to take and keep with you to remember your time at Skidmore and to remind you that you're part of the Alumni Association. Soon you're going to leave and embark on your journeys. Our paths are not straight roads. They are windy, curvy, full of challenges. You will leave here armed with the greatest weapon there is, the Skidmore education. You have the information and skills given to you by professors, by staff, your experiences, your friendships, and of course, your families. Never forget all of those things. In a couple of weeks, really less than 2 weeks, we will be back to celebrate reunion weekend. As a member of the class of '88, I'm particularly excited about that as it's one of my reunions. You, in the class of 2023, are joining our 3s and 8s cohort. Yes! You're lucky. We're a good group. And for the foreseeable future, you will be coming back to join us for the same reunion cycles. And what we want you to do as you go and embark on your lives is come back and tell us what you've been doing. Share your experiences, share your joy, share your challenges. Participate in alumni events. Go to different events, network. You will be part of an association of over 35,000 living alumni, every one of whom is committed to your success. Do you need a mentor? Do you need a friend? Do you need some ideas? Whatever it is, Skidmore alumni are here around the country and around the world. We're all part of this one Skidmore family, this one team dedicated to not just success, but also to have some fun together. So please come back to reunion. Remember as you embark on your journeys. One last final thought. Skidmore graduates do not sit on the sidelines. You will be the change agents. You will be in the room where it happens. And we want you to come back and tell us about those wonderful successes. So I wish you all the best in your future. I look forward to celebrating reunions with you. Congratulations, class of 2023.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise? President Connor, I present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
By virtue of the authority of the state of New York, vested by the regents and the trustees of Skidmore College and by them delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Graduates, please move your tassels from right to left. And approach the stage.
Alexander Michael Lewis.
Samantha Asa Allman.
Ava Leah Tuckman.
Jose Santos Nunez.
Mohammed Ahmed Almahiri.
Muaddad A. Almahiri.
Noah Ross Lorna.
Isabella Jaber.
Quinn Whitney Stoddard O'Neill.
Jan Calvin Oriak.
Sophie Madison Altman.
Cole William Darby.
Rebecca Kate Banner.
Liana Alexa Giglio.
Hamza Ahmed.
Nick Niriat Paukun.
Samantha Lynn Clausen.
Amelia Yonping Murphy.
Kelby Bryant Wittenberg.
Henry Adams Tate.
Maxwell N. Solomon.
Catherine Elena Bassin.
Margaret Alice Brown.
Hayes Botnick.
Juliana Rose Moreira.
Todd Andrew Blaymyers.
Declan Morris.
Neve Amore Doyle.
Nathaniel T. Lucas.
Peyton Gabrielle DeCrescenti.
Kaylee Melissa Rowan.
Jenny Noble Friedman.
Rebecca Alta Johnson.
Ethan Scott McNamara.
Madeline Foxman Aiken.
Kira Rose Lang. Maxwell Gregory Baskins.
Claire Juliet Berkowitz.
Sierra Richardson.
Frida Anguiano.
Pablo S. Quesada.
Oma Gomez.
Olivia Kate Schmalman.
Jessica Auerbach.
Anna Rose Mayrish.
Anya Silbert.
Annalie Ramolins.
Eliana Grace Hills.
Brendan Charles O'Neill.
Jack Doyle Clark.
Matthew Frederick Carpusis.
Daniel Joseph Melillo IV.
John Jude Ogilvy. Truman David Lee Solomon.
Nicholas Michael Massaro.
Lindsay Dolores Raimundi.
Sophia Elizabeth Krakow.
Devin Berkowitz.
Ali Palmisiano.
Megan Catherine Huntington.
Lindsay Dry.
Vladimir Malashenko.
Catherine Dina Michaels.
Chloe Ann Bell Thompson.
Grace Irene Picarillo.
Elizabeth Claire Danielson.
Kate Elizabeth Skaronsky.
Anne Fairfax Beatty. Valeria Visser Galvan.
Georgia Claire Berry.
Katie Margaret Leinert.
Stella Storino.
Ian Chorlian.
Grace Weibel.
Liana Murav Heath.
Zachary James Markowitz.
Nicholas James Riley.
Oliver Elliott Wilson.
Andrew Ellicott Weinberg.
Justin David Satelli.
Aaron Myers Shello Levine.
Garrett G. Juan Marino.
Brooke Avery Slesh.
Vanessa R. Mock.
Mia Kisun Mirsayan.
Lucia Margarita Prinzi.
Kayla Muzzy.
Sadie Ann Mills.
Olivia White Knowlton.
Isabella Roma Klosterman.
Sophia Milena Stelbaum.
Justin L. Gibble.
Junier Akin Eniola.
Anna Rebecca Duffy.
Mia Grace Baker Brierly.
Carter Patrick Jones.
Jasper Levin Lynn.
Ethan Hudson Pratz.
Gregory Michael McGinnis.
Madeline Egger.
Isabella Vivian Padula.
Marin Gabrielle Forbes.
Lindsay Rose Galarno.
Anastasia Grace Barden.
Shayna Rose Cohen.
Cara P. Granata.
Anna Nicole Stiles.
James Nolan White.
Jai Gill.
Madison N. Garvey.
Miles Che Herman.
Brian Anthony Borchard the Jr.
Abigail Brown.
Rachel Louise Fisher Olson.
Isabella Kunz Nevin.
Julia Spencer Breesy.
Jessica Schulman.
Elizabeth Jean Miller.
Carly Gabrielle Shea.
Chloe Serena Feindrich.
Isabella Rose Faber.
Warren Joseph King III.
Finn Byron Gardner Pushak.
Angeli Rose Lavery.
Krenak Sayani Surprise III. Serena Elizabeth Fairchild Bradley.
Carmelina Albanese.
Marissa Lynn Frenette.
Olivia Margaret Hunt.
Zoe Jean Belodo.
Annie Hegeman.
Jacob Benjamin Schmidt.
Antoinette Miller.
Emmy Wild Tissue.
Caden Bobley O'Connor.
Kira Leanne Shepard.
Malcolm L. Thayer.
Kimberly Rose Fragola.
Alexandra Nicole Este.
Chloe Locker.
Caitlin Elise Fravel.
Mark Joseph DeCourcy.
Alexander Jacob Weinreb.
Brady Athan Sarides.
William Maximus Tone.
Carrie Halsey Hughes.
Aaron Schwartz.
Nicholas Carlos Holman.
Bella Lynn Finkel.
Alex Martin Nybert.
Georgia Ray Luce.
Mia Teresa Berardino.
Peyton Davis Sobel.
Asia Rucky.
Rebecca Grace Ma Weidman.
Hannah Grace Stolzenthaler.
Raven Jade P. Villa.
Thais Legrand.
Samoya Danielle Richards.
Nadeja Diamond Wright.
Nikisha Amal Hoagland.
Dream Griffin. Solange Yvonne Younger.
Margaret Elizabeth Olney Arms.
Kaylee Hua.
Juan Carlos Cruz.
Emily Lua.
Kevin Joe.
Aries Maximus Lissing.
Maximilian R.Z. Saw.
Coney Guo.
Calvin Young.
Matthew Chan.
Gregory Denton Tillman.
Samuel Michael Bond.
Maxine S. Gilbo.
Finian Ward Omalia.
Robel Tadele.
Anna Sueko MEA Nishina Naggart.
Joshua Finkelman Mahoney.
Aiden Porter Fuller.
Itai Taylor Bali.
Miguel Angel Towns.
William Clay Scarlett.
Mose Sanders.
Callie Roy Balesi.
Justin Maxwell Adams.
Eli Kaliski.
Emily Josephine Davis.
Eliza Nazir.
Sarah Gold.
Maeve O'Neill Curtin.
Jason Shepard.
Catherine Ellis Watley.
Jacqueline Beth Finger.
Justin J. Rizzi.
Jillian Marie Garvey.
Han Shu.
Jiadong Yang.
Henry Shing.
Leah Isabel Littlefield. Sydney Leah Cass.
Samantha Kendall Hotz.
Ariella Tova Kornfeld.
Abigail Grace Monahan.
Abigail Iris Spear.
Ashley Smolensky.
Katie May Pewterbaugh.
Liat Friedman.
Rachel Dentler.
Eliana M. Walpole.
Annabelle Derrick.
Douglas Selden Flam Jr.
Sarah Rose Lindner.
Hannah Williamson Winthrop.
Elena C. Bennett.
Marley Schmidt.
William Schuyler Lee.
Yeni De Jesus Guzman.
Luna Peralta. Isabella Prisceli Rodriguez Fuentes.
Noah Frio.
Emma Shuki Lin.
David Joseph Strange.
Shirei Chiang.
Kai Tan.
Christina Ann Bechtel.
Aisha Mendez.
Jingwang Wu Yang.
Tiffany Herrera.
Tenzin Kunchak.
Giovanni Bravo.
Larry Tapia.
Emily Ann Gilbert.
Gianna Marie Grillo.
Michael Marshall DeCarlin Bumilla.
Fan Chu.
Shisin Suan.
Yunling Jian.
Catherine May Stacks.
Julian Kobor.
Alice Christine Barrett.
Alyssa Dawn Sparrow.
Jax Paige Allaire McDonald.
Lilia Barnes Sattler.
Kaylin Ethan Alegnowitz.
Sabrina Alper. Manuel Cesar Macuja Elizalde.
Kaylee Bryn Mullen.
Maisie McWright.
Lucas Talbot Duterman.
Tori Faye Abbott.
Daniel Joshua Bouchard Overton.
Naya Keith.
Sten Lenusa.
Selena Almasarwa.
Alessandra Venema.
Tess Carey Vermillion.
Raymond Brando East.
Jake M. Stahl.
Christopher David Bell.
Finn Hogan.
Sydney Muller.
Leora Anna Cohen Tigor.
Olivia May Ripley.
Jamie Porter Eason.
Francis Tamar Capalvo.
Benjamin Goldfarb Freeman.
Ethan Thomas Hull.
James Jeffrey Burton.
Emmy K. MacArthur.
Sarah Hirsch Hoffman.
Eve K. Creshtool.
Charlotte Milana Benson.
Eliza Rain Jacobs.
Bill Wu.
Destiny V. Sahura.
Angela Kim.
Shafira Nolita.
Aida Rose Castelblanco.
Theo Elijah Carroll.
Matthew Grega.
Stella Rose Piasecki.
Dori Senoi Nduki.
David Tago.
Georgiana Paulette Zanotto.
Melissa Maria Nolan.
Lucinda Rose Standifer.
Jenna Willman.
Josephine Barrett Lafort.
Avery Wells Blake.
Richard Lynn Howe.
Pranav Vaidyanathan.
Rohan Cyrus Vakil.
Jared Anelka Ratsim Bazafi.
Stefano Alexander Vinas.
Connie Guo. Victor Kojo Meza.
Melina Kristen Scott.
Batu Diop.
Carly Ann Stenson.
Joseph Darius Charles Jr.
Joel Ruben Puma.
Juliana Francis Espinal Murkison.
Amelia Jennifer Bassett.
Madeleine Isabel Glick. John Paul Bradley James LaViolette.
Ned Wright.
Paul Heffernan.
Anthony Nicholas Merkovic.
Quinu Huang.
Rui Yan.
Juziung Jung.
Adelaide Barkhorn.
Margaret Lucia Limon.
Juno Lorber.
Martab Hasnat.
Melanie Judith Nolan.
Kimberly Nee.
Amr Fatafta.
Rebecca Leah Fields.
Thomas McGarahan.
Melena D. Gilbert.
Kenyon Weiss.
Abigail Caroline Rogers.
Catherine Ann McCarney.
Casey Kuchagian.
Xenia Anna Zimmerman.
Erica Lauren Chang.
Lydia Njobvu.
Elizabeth Kako Gimba.
Ulele Noela Kachilele.
Victoria Martha Thorpe.
Katia Jennifer Aguirre Osorio.
Lee Wong Leventhal.
Sarita Cecilia Paducone. Hashni Sial.
Sarthak Pant.
Arham Sharif Hashmi.
Sumitra Dakul.
Catherine Mullen Phillips.
Angela Bella Tanza.
Rosa Lewis Kristen.
Emma Yeager.
Nehemiah P. Jackson.
Perry E. Brower.
Evan Holland Shepler.
Seth Bannister Gillette.
Go ahead. David O'Connell.
Jamie Nicole Rothenberg.
Liam David Painter.
Alexander Joshua Lee.
Benjamin Ephraim Simon. Or Simon.
Alexander Robert Nardone.
For your? Avigna Kopala. Sophie Catherine Bean.
Karina Ung.
Tessa Jordan Leibovitz.
Sloan Zwanger.
Luo Shiekai Shin.
Jack Christopher Arentowitz.
Jordan McKinley Cahombin.
Willie Brandt Wiebe.
Lucas William Weber.
Finn Brokaw Weber.
Totvidas Kupstas.
Rory Miller.
Hannah Ada Yelonsky.
Lena Murray Bursma.
Ailish Bavin Flahaven.
Eve Hyatt.
Elliot Hallahan.
Chloe Adeline Mickles.
Amon Ernest Langlois.
Hunter N. Wasser.
Henry Hamilton.
Zoe Valentine Pappas.
Raven Ennis.
Emil Elias Morrison.
Connor J. Boyle.
Bruce Harben Appel.
Anna Sophia Torre.
Daphne V. Lucio Sanchez.
Marley Che Augustus Perez.
Kerry Michael Gionis.
Maxim Sussman.
Cameron Stone Angwin.
Claire Louise Dunn.
Amber Beth Susi.
Devonte S. Greenaway.
Forrest Walden Leve.
Vilnius Aramis Porus.
Liam Andrew Shemesh.
Tenaye Emeka Mawocha.
Jeremy Acosta.
Joaquim Comellas.
Brendan Jimenez.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science please rise? President Connor, I present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science.
By virtue of the authority of the State of New York, vested by the Regents and the Trustees of Skidmore College, and by them delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Graduates, please move your tassels from right to left and approach the stage.
No, I'm just like bunching them. Okay. Izzy Beatriz Mejia.
Idi Singh.
Justin Loriente Posnick.
Anthony Joseph Peterson.
Anthony James Mollica.
Joseph Michael Pastori IV.
Ethan Alexander Kilnick.
Jack Marks.
Daniel Cornicello.
George Robert Stratz Jr.
Riley James Green.
Paul Segev.
Samantha E. Murphy.
Margaret Culligan.
Hannah Michelle Quite.
Sarah Gabrielle Kundra.
Elizabeth Scott Silk.
Alexander Hannah Levins.
Maria Paige Langford.
Abigail Lee Post.
Emily Rose Calloway.
Allison Grace Mahoney.
Shannon Deneen.
Maddie Branfenbrenner.
Milo Cher Rigoletti.
Cirai Maria McDonald.
Aki Maya Davis.
Lucy Ray Schwartzreich.
Sasha M. Fishstein.
Zoe Paget Glazer.
Taylor Samuel Waxman.
Emily D. Marquez.
Mayavati Lal.
Emma Noel Smith.
Jamie I. Guten.
Jasper John Reuben Hancock.
Erin Elise Einsick.
Micah Oscar Flom.
Aaron Smith Arnold.
Elizabeth Carolyn Hinshaw.
Colin Ann Daniel.
Mary Elizabeth Halm.
Dia Jangiani.
Catherine Marilee Hogue. Finn August Lyon.
Francesco Frank Lanzanti.
John Wells Blake II.
Bo Martin Civi.
Alan Thomas Martin.
Eamon Pendleton Witherspoon.
Jack Murray.
Hannah Mirabelle Hewitt.
David Joseph DeFronzo.
Elizabeth Ann Day.
Riley Jane Corral.
Anna Irini Churchill.
Olivia Ann Furlong.
Tomas P. Balboa Levis.
Lila A. Duboff.
Thomas Newton Clark.
Jessica Roman.
Will Raymond Quigley.
Stella Rose Davidian Johnson.
Francesca Eileen Griffin.
Hannah Leor Danziger.
Alexandra Frost.
Nema Lua Nai.
Chantal Tompok.
Keo Nguyen.
Allison Josephine Cottingham.
William Panagiotis Kikiris Carter.
Mingwang Wang.
Karen Kwok.
Yuxuan Zhao.
Daniela Angeli Peralta.
Cara L. Sher Messing.
Catherine Jing Knight.
Carr Wyatt Weiler.
Elizabeth Cohen.
Anne Sophie Vanderberg.
Helen Tate Brencher.
Mary Scarborough McKean.
William Devereaux Davis Kay.
Leah Alden Cunningham.
Angelica M. Panginis.
Jasmine Kwan Kardawu.
Bridget Carolina Yunda.
Brian Mauricio Cusco Sinchi.
Jumor Luva Gordon.
Lauren Hollis Ruggiero.
Jack Walsh.
Colin Charles Kusa.
Sean Patrick Hurley.
Gregory James Skort.
Devin Macio.
Joseph Biddle.
Harrison Davis Eichelberger. Matthew Monk.
Kirsten Kilmeade.
Catherine Amorosino.
Matthew Peter Rutigliano.
Avery James Geddes.
Sergio Eric Chelibidaki.
David W. Cohen.
Jonah Graham Melton.
Conrad E. Cohen.
Alper Kulturel.
Samira Seven Sadiqullah.
Teddy Seguin.
Jane Catherine Crowley.
Han Nguyen.
Josh T. Melsa.
Karena Elizabeth Benanti.
Victoria Grace Benanti.
Phoebe Zosha Bechlian.
Caroline Elizabeth Forte.
Sean Lim.
Alexis Teresa Benfante.
Alexandra Nicole Vasilio.
Laura Ann DeQuino.
Sydney Shira Jasny.
Ella Rose Brophy.
Leandro Jesus Bustos.
Melissa Nicole Matthias.
Brianni Carolina Garcia.
Megan Richana Robertson.
Lauren May Greaves.
Max Mello.
Jackson John Hornung.
Morgan Alexandra Sickles.
Kelly Healy.
Cyrus H. Cheung.
Hart Jameson.
Alex Genevieve Klein.
Haley Beckett Nash Thompson.
Audrey Ann Powell.
Chelsea Bay Winiger.
Zachariah Cooley.
Samantha Vela.
Connor Scott Aiken.
Claire Taylor Winters. Lisbeth del Carmen Marte. Orlando Burgos.
John Keith Reynolds.
Matthew Anthony Duda.
Cameron M. Glassman.
Emma Lowe.
Alexa May Fitzgerald.
Jasmine Leong.
Natalie Anita Vibrock.
Muriel Canby Lang.
Sarah Elizabeth Titleman.
Jack Whalen.
Ryan P. Flynn.
Sintra Alexandra Howell.
Claire Elizabeth Coates.
Greg James Ross.
Benjamin Ryder Gastongue.
William Emmons Quirk.
Brendan Keenan Hannon.
Margaret McQueston.
Emily Rebecca Vinnick.
Maximilian Charles Burke.
Benjamin Javier Sepulveda.
Dylan Mark Talano.
Oliver Everett Bloom.
Abina Ofibea Giampo.
Kendris Lucci Rock.
Aiden M. Sullivan.
Sophie Smith.
Parker Elena Nelson.
Nina Rudke.
Tianchen Zhang.
Horan Shu.
Claire Huang.
Vinny Lucero Pozuelos.
Dylan Kishon.
Alvaro Richard Mejij.
Najib Gill.
Z. Allard.
Kadim Roberts.
Kiryat Hans.
Kyle M. Guyard.
Alexander L. Urinsky.
Ayana Wills.
Alora Yegrain Barrett.
Abby Thompson.
Osman Tariq Bucks.
Alora Yegrain Barrett. Brian Alexis Morales Flores.
That was so much fun. And I do think I see sunshine and a little bit of blue sky. On behalf of the trustees, the faculty, and the staff at Skidmore College, we salute you, the graduates of the class of 2023. Skidmore has been your home, and we will always welcome you back home. Skidmore is a part of your identity, of who you are. We will always care about you. We look forward to hearing of your achievements and your triumphs so that we can celebrate them with you. Here you have studied, worked, laughed, and lived. Now go forth in pride and fearlessness to your life ahead. Now please stand for the singing of your alma mater.